看我们看一篇 ACT 的 Social Science 应该 Humanities 里面的一篇文章。这篇文章其实是一个 social commentary， 讲的是一个 TV show Star Trek。我们看看 On September 8th, 1966, when NBC premiered its new futuristic series Star Trek, few were watching. 刚开始上映的时候没有几个人看这个 TV show 的。Conceived by television writer Gene Roddenberry as part American Western, part science fiction, and part contemporary morality play, Star Trek languished for 2.5 years before being cancelled as a rating flops in January 1969. 好，什么叫 part Western？ 就是你知道美国电影里面 Western 就指的是西部开发那种感觉，对吧？一种牛仔，对吧？那种精神，那种大荒漠精神。而 Star Trek 呢，讲的是外太空的这种扩张，就所以有一种感觉，一种影射的American Western 的感觉，是吧？然后呢 ，Star Trek 呢，混到那儿混了2年半之后被 cancel， 被认为是什么 rating flop 就是翻船的意思，对吧？2 years later, Star Trek somehow had captured the imagination and viewer loyalty of millions of Americans who discovered the show anew in syndicated reruns. Syndicated rerun 就是重播，对吧？就说你这个 show 被 cancel 了，但是有些时候有些 network 呢，它白天的时候没什么东西放，它放那些什么以前重播的东西，对不对？以前放以前的东西就重播嘛。那重播的时候呢，这些 fan 就重新 discover， 就一下子火起来了。Star Trek's meteoric rise to popularity was unprecedented for a television program. 它的突然升到一个 popular 的 status 这种情况是非常史无前例的这种情况，对 television program 来说。By January 1972, the show was airing in over 100 local markets in America and 70 more around the world. 到1972年的时候，它就几乎到处都是了，对吧？每个很多 channel 都有了。Perhaps more than other television series, Star Trek benefited greatly from being the right show at the right time. 他说对他来说 Star Trek 它真正受益的是什么？它是一个 right show at the right time， 就来的正好时间，对不对？ In middle-class America, social class and political change in the late 1960s made it increasingly difficult for people to unite in common purpose. 他说，在1960年的时候，比如 civil rights movement, feminist movement, anti-war movement， 对吧？这各种各样 movement 凑合在一起，使得中产阶级美国他们觉得社会政治改变太多了之后，很难找到一种 common ground to 把他们 unite together， 对吧？Civil War struggles, the Vietnam War, the rise of a culturally empowered youth movement, among other things, divided many Americans by race, gender, age, and politics. 他说各种各样的 movement 把人们什么通过什么各种各样的 category 把人们分开了。Although television news programs helped focus the country on the rifts that had begun to percolate on campuses, in city streets, and around dining room tables, as a rule, entertainment programming avoided conflict and controversy. 它虽然电视节目呢，到处就是 focus the countries on the rifts that had begun to percolate， 就说这些 rift 就是各种冲突嘛，就各种充斥在美国社会的到处都有的这种冲突呢。虽然说这些 news program 他们会 focus 在这些东西上面去，就是说但是呢 entertainment programming 一般是尽量避免开了的。什么意思？就是美国社会有很多各种各样的 conflict， 就是各种的矛盾，对吧？大家尽量是什么 ？The news coverage 就新闻们，他们呢尽量就是什么关注了这些 conflict 的。但是呢，作为 entertainment programming， 他们就尽量想避开讨论这些话题，是吧？Escapist comedy about suburban witches, genies, and rural townspeople was standard fare. 他说那些什么逃避性的那种喜剧片呢，比如说关于 suburban witches 的 genies 的 rural townspeople 的，都是一个比较传统的、比较标准的一个东西。Network drama emphasized law, order, and conformity, whether on the police beat, in the courtroom, or out on the Great Western Frontier. 他说什么？他说那 drama show 呢，他们强调的都是什么 law order 各种各样的情况，而不是强调的是混乱，正好跟社会是什么反着来的，没有很好反映出当时社会。对 ，Star Trek was different, created in the optimistic afterglow of John F. Kennedy's inauguration of the space race， 这个应该知道吧？冷战期间的那个 space race 在 JFK 被建立起来了。Star Trek's exploration of the final frontier was a theme that resonated with millions of idealistic and awestruck Americans who look at the Apollo moon landing as a crowning positive achievement for humankind. Star Trek 呢，它正好沾上边这个跟 space 跟那个应该是 space race 沾上边，对吧？因为它讲的就是在太空里面的东西嘛，对吧？于是乎就正好抓住哪些人呢？那些认为我们 Apollo landing 在 on moon 嘛，是个非常骄傲、值得自豪的东西。正好这么有一个 Star Trek 讲的就是外太空的那种 frontier exploration， 他们也觉得很兴奋，抓住他们的心了，对吧 ？Still, as Gene Roddenberry often claims, Star Trek was less about the future than the present. 但是呢 ，Star Trek 虽然讲的是未来呢，这个创始者呢，他始终认为他是更多关心的是现在的话题，影射嘛，对不对？ Indeed, it was precisely because of its futuristic storyline that Star Trek was able to address many of the contemporary social problems that other programs shunned. 正因为什么？它的场景设在未来，所以说它才有那个什么，有那个能力去 focus on 就现代的很多问题，而很多 programming 他们就不愿意讨论这话题，比如说 racial equality， 对吧？你如果看过 Star Trek 里面看到很多不同外星的人种在他们的和睦相处，即使跟我们现在那个年代的什么黑人、白人的女性各种各样的不同 category 他们的是不是能和睦相处这个社会话题，对不对 ？Star Trek's visionary episodes on race relations, nuclear deterrence, multiculturalism, and ecology were not threatening to those who saw it as fantastic science fiction. 它里面有很多当时很重要的话题，但是对于很多观众来说呢，感觉并不是什么处在你面前跟你讲道理的感觉，是吧 ？For those who saw the program as a window into current controversy, Star Trek offered insight and added perspective to continuing American culture and political change in the 1970s. 对那些有心的人来说呢 ，Star Trek 也加了很多 insight 进去。Either way, the show's wide appeal in syndication was such that by 1977, Star Trek had become the most watched off-network series drama of all time, 就非常 popular, 对吧？ In nearly 30 years, Gene Roddenberry's fantasy space concept has spawned 4 primetime series, continued syndication, a cartoon, 8 major motion pictures, countless toys, games, and computer software. 讲的是它的什么？分支有很多很多，有电影、有卡通、有书，对吧？有玩具、有游戏都有。Nearly overlooked, however, is unparalleled impact Star Trek has on an industry that has only recently become television friendly. 那另外一个非常重要的一个 industry， 就它冲击的一个 industry 是哪个 industry？ Publishing。一般 TV show 不会跟 publishing 结合在一起的，就是出版商嘛，对不对？Since the early 1970s, when the first novel hit bookshelves, the world of Star Trek has exploded in print like no other phenomenon in American popular culture. 在美国什么流行文化里面，没有任何一个像 Star Trek 这样，对不对？马上进入了 publishing industry， 然后一下子 exploded. Star Trek fan volumes, cast memoirs, novels continue to appear and in record numbers. 他说 fan volume 是迷妹自己写的东西嘛。cast memoir 就是那些演员他们的一些回忆录，对不对？以及 novels 持续的什么 appear。Of all the classic and contemporary shows available to a critic, none illustrate the scope of America's cultural evolution as eloquently as the saga of Star Trek and its next generation spin-offs. 就没有任何一个什么 contemporary classic contemporary show 或者那所谓的经典 TV show 或电影能像 Star Trek 这样的带来的影响如此之深，对吧？ In a culture that has undergone dramatic and far-reaching change in the last 30 years, Star Trek sweetens the often bitter alienation of contemporary change with a type of familiarity and constancy that only a show with 30-year history can offer. 这话什么意思呢？就是说，美国在过去30年社会政治改变如此之巨大，让人们觉得有一种 alienation 就是有什么陌生感。就我都觉得这个社会跟我太陌生了，对不对？但是呢 ，Star Trek 它因为30年一直不停的在什么播放新的东西， 然后它内容主题都没有怎么大的变化，给你感觉就是虽然说30年这个社会让我感觉非常的陌生，但是有这么一个东西 Star Trek 让我感到非常 familiar， 对吧？有一种感觉很温馨的感觉，是吧？Star Trek offers viewers the paradox of a program that combines provocative insight into changing cultural values with the reassuring comfort that the known universe of Starfleet, Klingons, and the Phaser can nonetheless survive intact and even grow. 什么意思啊？它给了我们一个 paradox， 什么 paradox 呢？就是我们的社会非常变化很大，就是给了我们一个非常变化很大的一个社会，但是呢，也给了我们一个 comfort， 什么 comfort 呢？我们的这个 Starfleet， 这个 Klingons， 它始终没变的，对，甚至它的这个 Empire 在壮大，对不对？就是把整个给你一个心理一个平衡嘛，算是，对不对？Because of its active fandom, Star Trek has become a television phenomenon like no other in American culture. And just as the original Star Trek has found new expression in series such as The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyagers， 这都是它的一些 spin-off。spin-off 的意思就是什么？就是说比如说我们这个 show 讲的是这么几个东西，有这么几个人物，但是呢，大家都比较喜欢里面其中一个人物，我们把这个人物抽出来，然后重新再来一个 series， 那么重新给一个新的一个 TV show， 这是一个 spin-off， 但不一定是人物，也可能是它故事的一个转换，可能是它的续集啊，这也叫 spin-off， 对不对？好，I suspect fans will find new ways to indulge or express their private affection for Star Trek by reading and writing books in greater numbers。他认为读者们、他的迷们会持续的找到方法去什么表达自己的喜爱，对不对？As American goes boldly into the next millennia, so will Star Trek in print, on television, and in formats yet to come。作者认为 Star Trek 依然会非常持续的延续下去，对吧？那么现在 Star Trek 还是有新的电影、新的 TV 出来，所以说还有新的 cartoon 也出来，所以 Star Trek 现在依然是非常强盛在美国 popular culture 里面。好，那么就。